The artist has arrived. Let's talk about the tank. Alright boys, welcome back to another Bit Legends video. Today we're going to talk about the artist. So let's just slide on over here and boom. There we go. So we're talking about the artist tank in this video. Next video is going to be the artist DPS. Tank's pretty interesting. So we're going to zoom in here. If you're on mobile, don't worry about it. Everything will be big enough so that you can read along with me. But all these pictures are going to be available in the Discord. The link is in the description. Just check out the talents channel. And if you want to discuss this stuff, use the theory crafting channel. That way your chats do not get deleted or get lost. And anyways, here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop down to the green line that is at the bottom of the screen. So let's just zoom in over here. And we'll go a little bit more for our people on mobile. So there we go. So in the painting line, the first thing I want you guys to see is the prerequisite talent lines are a little bit convoluted. I've said this before when the other classes were out, I think that all of the prerequisite lines should be removed because it's just confusing. You already have a prerequisite spending cost to the different talents. I just don't think it's needed. But we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the artist DPS build. It doesn't really affect the tank, so it's not really too much of a problem here, but I just want you guys to take a look at these lines. It starts over here, you're going to drop down, you're going to go across, it's going to go up, and it's going to loop back. So a little bit interesting there. I think it's just the way that they're utilizing the space, I guess. It looks interesting, but again, I think it adds a little bit of complexity that's not really necessary and doesn't really benefit anything. And again, it impacts the artist DPS, but we'll talk about that when we get there. I am fairly excited for both of these classes. So anywho, the first thing I have to say is you're going to drop down to the green line and you're just going to literally spend everything here. You're going to buy every talent here. You're going to spend 72 points. As far as your build, you want to stack stamina as high as you can, get some hit point percentage on gear. We'll talk about why later. Also, you want a decent amount of speed and agility because you have this is an active build, and if you want to be able to use that ult, you need to be able to get some SP to do it. And let's just scroll up here for the notes real quick. So this is the active artist tank. You're going to have an active ultimate ability, which is one of the most important things about this build because you're probably going to see the most value of that ult in Raid 9. The whole goal is to support your team, and you're going to do that by giving the hit point percentage. There's synergy with block. You have the highest possible reflect with this build by 1.5, so not the craziest thing in the world, but some of you guys want to really max that out. The ultimate ability needs testing, so I'm going to do a video if/when I'm able to do that, and I'll try to use the skill. It's going to be difficult for me because I don't have a lot of speed and I don't have a lot of agility. So for me to physically use the skill, I'd have to do it in something like Guild Boss. So we'll see. It's kind of, yeah, you can kind of see the issues that this build will run into. But if you build for it, you can make it work. And then let's see, needs enough speed to get tested. Yeah. Here are the bonuses that you're getting from it. So you're getting 5 dodge, you're getting absorb, block, hit points, speed, reflect. That's a lot of speed, but you're going to need that. Shield absorb, crit, you get shields when block, shield weakness per battle. And you're getting the active ult gives you 30% hit points for yourself, and then 20% of your hit points go to the team. But anyways, so if you're interested in that, you want to watch this video. But anyways, let's get back to it. So you have to start over here, so you really don't have a choice which way you go. So I'm just going to run through it really quick. Get dodge, get absorb, get block. You're going to come across. You're going to grab hit point percentage. Speed is not bad in this case. I know I just mentioned it, but you need enough speed to actually use the ultimate ability, so it's not too bad. You're going to get more speed up here, and hit points are going to be really good. This is really cool. This is something I recommended. When blocking is triggered, immediately restores 3% shield for all allies. I think this is awesome. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because of my idea, although they probably had this idea cooking anyways without me, but this is awesome. This is what tanks want, that you want to be able to support your team, so you can be a tank and a support tank at the same time. Really, really awesome. Gives some spice, and it makes you feel like you're really doing a lot with blocking, because a lot of tanks don't have a lot of speed. We're not using skills a lot, so you're kind of just standing in the front trying to be like a brick wall. This actually allows you to feel like you're contributing more, you're doing more, you're more than just a pet proc. So that's really cool. And also it spices up shields. I'd like to see more stuff with like when reflect happens, when absorb happens, when block happens, when dodge happens, all those things to spice it up. And also specific to dodge, since you can't proc your pet when you dodge, reflect, or absorb, if they have other effects like this, then I think that might help that situation. But as far as I know, you can proc your pet when you block, so you're getting a double banger for this one's good. You're gonna come back down here when the round starts. Restores up to 15% shielding for the ally with the lowest shield. Again, that's really good, so you're giving even more shielding. I wonder if 15%, is that too low? Is that what? And then also, when the round starts, does that mean when each battle starts in raid? So would that be at the beginning of the battle, or does this mean each turn? So I know they're doing a lot of translation here. We're translating to English, so we're gonna have a little bit of these speed bumps. But we need to use the same language all the time. It's either when the battle starts, and we've seen that before, or per turn. So I'm assuming this is when the battle starts, which is good because tanks typically are slow, so you're not getting a lot of turns. Even in Raid 9, my tank still does not get a turn on the trash fight. So this would do nothing for me. But if it's when the battle starts, then I'll get a lot of this, and this will actually be significant. And then go down here, Finishing Touch. This is the tank ultimate ability. It costs 20 SP, which is 2 pips. That's half of your entire bar. So that's going to take at least, 3 tank turns to be able to get enough SP to use the ability. And then in using the ability, it increases 30% of your self hit points. And then it's going to increase your allies' hit points by 20% of your self hit points. So I'm assuming everything stacks. I've also asked the developers, if you have 2 tanks in your team and they both have this ability, they both stack. I'm not exactly sure how it stacks. Is it additive? Is it multiplier? It's probably additive, but they both stack. So I'm sure you guys want to know that. So that's going to be 72 points spent, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Previous builds we usually see 51, maybe 52 points spent in a tree, and we put everything else in other trees. I think it's fine. It's good to actually have it all here. Also, I really do like them packing a bunch of tank talents in the same tree. So we are going to go all the way up to the top tree. Let me just zoom out a little bit to give you guys a little bit of perspective to see where we're at. So we're going to completely skip orange. I probably, in making this picture, I probably should, maybe I'll go update it. I should remove orange just to make the picture smaller so it's easier for people on mobile. I'll remove the orange tree, move this text down here, and then I'll make it shorter. I kind of did that on the DPS tree. But anyways, so we're going to go up to the top tree in the blue. We're zooming in for our boys on mobile, and let's scroll down. Music knowledge. You're going to have to pick up 5% crit. Having crit on a tank is not a bad thing. It's not high on the list of things that you want, but it's fine. 5% reflect. This is the highest reflect talent in the game. The one thing that's a little bit questionable is it's a 2nd tier talent and it's 5%. And in Kung Fu Master, I think it's a 3rd or a 4th tier talent and it's 3.5%. I would like to see some consistency. It would be less confusing for players also, and I do think it would be easier for them to build if they build for balance and things like that if they had consistency. I think a tier 1 talent should have this much value, a tier 2 talent should have this much value, a tier 3 talent should have this much value. It's not going to, make or break the game or the build or anything like that, but I would like to see consistency. I'd like to see consistency on how much bonuses each item has. So if we're talking about the Raid Mythic Offhand and the Raid Mythic Helmet, I think they should have the same amount of bonuses, but that's kind of beyond the scope of this video. But anyways, you're getting 5% reflect, which is really nice. And then over here, you're not going to be able to max this out. You're going to get 8 points in Inversion Tune, and that's going to get you around 12% shield absorption. So I believe that instead of absorbing, I'm not actually sure how this works. I don't know if this increases your absorb shield cap. I don't think that's the case. I think if you're going to absorb 100% or 100 damage, then you'll absorb 115 damage instead. The reason why that's kind of meh is because usually the attacks are so big that it's capping your shield when you absorb most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. So is this really going to be a value to you? Maybe, maybe not. If you don't want this, if you feel like your absorbs are already capping your shields anyways, you could just come up here and grab a little bit more speed. So I think you get 4% speed, and that bring you up to 18% speed, which would help. So either way, pick Inversion Tune or pick Empty Mountain. But that will do it. Let's zoom out a little bit. I think that might be one of my quicker talent videos, but I think the Kung Fu tank. I think the Artist tank is going to be viable. I really need to test out and see how the ultimate works. Because the thing is, if you want the most out of that, you need to put a bunch of points in stamina and hit point percentage. But then you're going to have a very low amount of speed, so you're going to have to try to put some in speed, so you're not going to have any attacks at your pet proc. So the stats of the tank are you're going to have to find a sweet spot for you. You want enough speed so that you can actually use your ultimate ability, or there's honestly probably no point of running this build if you're not going to run that ultimate ability. And then do you have enough stamina to make it really bang for you? I actually want to see them take Finishing Touch and make it passive. I don't think it adds anything from this being an active ability. I think if they made this a passive ability, it would seal the deal and we would see a lot of Artist tanks starting to pop up. But I do think the meta in Raid 9, which is a video I'm going to do a little bit later, I think every Raid 9 is going to want a high stamina tank that has Artist, if they're able to use the Artist Ultimate. But again, we don't know. Do you need to use the Artist Ultimate once per raid? Do you need to use this Ultimate every single battle? If that's the case, it doesn't look very viable. But if it becomes passive or if anything changes, then that really puts this on the map. Now, we have to compare this to the Kung Fu tank, because the Kung Fu tank has an ability that currently costs 10 SP, so that's 1 pip, that gives your team 50% shields. Right now, at the current meta, there's not a lot of sources of shielding, and yes, I just showed you guys the block talent that can give some shields, and NG has some stuff similar to this, at each round 15% shielding and stuff. But currently, there's not a lot of top total stats weapons that give team shielding. There's not a lot of talents that are popular at giving team shielding. So right now, that emergency shield is actually quite valuable. And what would you rather have? A skill that costs 1 SP, so you can use it twice as fast, and you can also use it twice per battle, but a skill that costs 1 SP that gives your whole team 50% shield, and that's 15% of their health bar shielded, or would you like to increase their health by 20% of the tank's hit points, which could be massive on a DPS player. That could be 50% more health right there, because DPS have lower health pools. So it's one or the other. We'll see. I'm going to put some more content out using the emergency shield in Guild Boss 5 this week. I've actually respected and I have it now, so we'll see how that works out. I should be able to pop off 2 emergency shields in a Guild Boss 5 battle. And with this one, I don't think this would help as much in Guild Boss 5. One, because it would take almost twice as long for me to get the skill off, but also Guild Boss 5 is a specific boss, and it has an ability that makes the furthest 4 teammates on your team reduced to 1 hit point. So therefore, having more hit points is not very helpful, because it just means it's more that you have to heal. If you have shielding, that ability does not remove your shielding at all, so the shielding can protect you there. So Kung Fu actually sounds better in better in Guild Boss 5, and this one has potential to be better in Raid, but again, this ultimate ability needs to be tested. So look forward for videos on that. I definitely have the books to upgrade this all the way, and that's probably my next play. So we'll be doing that. But food for thought, again, just to wrap this up, I really think that Finishing Touch should be made into a passive ability, and that would completely just slam dunk this tank. And also, if you're a Kung Fu tank or NG tank or Bounty Hunter tank, it doesn't remove you guys off the map. You still have value. A lot of people are running 2 tanks in Raid 9, and you're definitely viable anything through Guild Boss's Guild Boss 5. Any build can tank that, so it's not too bad. But it's really good to see impactful build on the scene. There's some creative stuff here. We still haven't seen redirect. So this hit points situation gives your tank a different way to protect his team, but it's kind of the same goal. I'm still hoping to see redirect in the future, but I have no new update to talk about for redirect. So this is the way that we're going to do it for now. All right, boys, as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.